Hi everyone, it is Poober here for episode 14 of my Factorio playthrough, and it's been a long time since I've been able to post a new Factorio episode, and that is because my channel went down about 2 weeks ago. So we've got a lot of catching up to do in terms of gameplay and Factorio content. So I hope you'll stick around for this episode where we're going to go ahead and finally turn on my new 1 pack per second science factory that we installed last episode. So for those of you who haven't seen episode 13, I would highly recommend it because that is the video where I talk about how I went about designing this 1 science pack per second factory and the reasons for why I designed it the way I did and how it works. And I know a lot of you didn't get a chance to see it because it was the last video I posted before my channel went down. So you can see it now before moving on to this episode by clicking in the upper right hand section over here. Since last time I saw you guys in a Factorio episode though, I did finally install a green circuit factory over here to the left hand side, as well as Madsuri's red chip factory over here to the right hand side as well. I haven't got this one fully turned on quite yet, so we'll go ahead and do that today as well. But I think for starters I want to move on by finally installing what I can for the science factory and getting that going, and then we can check for bugs and issues with the factory as well. The first thing we need to do to really get it going is add in this belt here to turn on the coal production to the factory. We've already got green circuits feeding into it as well as our copper and our iron plate. And as you can tell, we're still missing quite a few pieces, mainly just our electricity components in the upper section over here. But we'll go ahead and connect up our green circuits now to the rest of the belts over here. We'll have to connect up our red circuits to this section over here though. And then this pipeline we don't have connected into the system yet, but it will be for sulfuric acid. But looking here, it looks like it's at least feeding into parts of the factory. We've got parts of it turning on fully at this point. So that's good. The one thing I'm mostly concerned about is getting our blue science turned on because that will be what we need to really start advancing our technology. Looking at our tech tree, you can see that I've basically done all of the research I possibly can for our red and green science packs, so everything else that we research at this point has to take blue science or above. And unfortunately, those are those things that I haven't had implemented up until now. But we can see that we have our green circuits able to feed into the blue science territory. So question is, why is it not working? And I'm guessing that's because we don't have any of our red circuits feeding into it yet. Let's see if we can get the red circuits beginning to work. I'm going to head over there. It's still a long walk. It's quite a large factory now. Okay, so here's our red circuit factory. And this is not turned on because we don't have a steady supply of plastic. So I want to fix that for sure. Our plastic factory is over here to the top where we have our oil refining sections and things like that. And I'm pretty sure in last episode I did get some research done for our advanced oil processing. Let's see, did I? It's kind of hard to check. Let's see, I can search. Advanced. Oh, no, I did not research that. And that is because it requires blue science packs. So that sucks. We still don't have the ability to do our advanced oil processing. So I think what I'm going to do in the meantime is fix up our plastic production a little bit, get it to the point where we have a decent amount of plastic coming in, at least to get enough blue science packs to get our advanced oil research going. So to doctor that up, I think the problem why we're not getting any more plastic production is because, well, we're not getting enough petroleum over here. And I'm guessing we're not getting enough petroleum because we have too much of the other fluid products. So that would be our heavy oil and our light oil. So the problem when we don't have the advanced oil processing is that we get too much built up of one fluid, for example, like our light and our heavy, and then not enough of our petroleum, for instance, because we don't have any where for our light or heavy oil to go. So I do have them getting barreled over here at this point, but it looks like I need to up how much I'm getting in our box here. So I'm going to increase this to feed oil barrels into here, or excuse me, light oil barrels specifically if less than 200. And we'll do the same for our heavy oil. So we fixed that condition. You can see that the refineries are beginning to work again, which means we'll begin to get our petroleum feeding into our plastic sections. You can see the plastics already beginning to work again. It looks like I do have an error here though. We shouldn't have plastic feeding onto the coal line, and that's because of this guy. So it looks like this guy I need to move. Basically, we need to switch it out. So that one goes like that, and then there we go. So I'm just gonna eat that up real quick there. There we go. So that at least solved that problem temporarily. Let's check and make sure it gets down to the red circuits where I need it to go. And we don't need it continuing anywhere beyond this point for now, so I'm just going to get rid of that belt so it doesn't go any further. Actually, that's not true. It's this point we don't need it to go past. There we go. So now it's feeding into our red chip factory. Again, this is a design by Matsuri, and it's only about half of the size that he originally did. I believe his factory is supposed to do one full red belt of red circuits, and this won't get anywhere near that at this point in my game because we don't have the plastic to feed it for now, or I think the green circuits to do that at full speed at this point. But hey, we finally have red chip production, which has been a long time coming. And it's feeding over here to the right-hand side where I don't need to go for now because there's nothing over there that will be eating it up. So I'm actually going to cheat a little bit and just grab what we can from the belt so it doesn't go to waste. And then I'm just going to manually insert the red circuits into our blue science factory section. And I know that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the game, which is to promote automation, but I kind of am getting desperate at this point. We really, really, really need our blue science packs getting initiated. So let's just kind of feed those in there. So these have red circuits, engines, but they don't have the electric mining drills. Why do they not have the mining drills? Here is why. So this looks like it's going to hold up our entire blue science research or production, and that's because I don't have blue underground belts researched at this point, and I don't have an alternative. A red underground belt will not fit underneath here, unfortunately, so that means I'm going to have to also do the electric miners by hand feeding into our blue science pack assemblers as well, which is really going to suck. But at least if I can get a little bit of research going with our blue science, that'll be better than nothing. So let's also manually feed these guys in. So here we go. We finally have these. I know it's only 2 working for now, but they are going to be producing some sort of blue science pack production. So that's good. So I think I'm going to kind of just rinse and repeat this process for now. We're going to let our miners build up, let our red circuits build up, and we'll keep feeding into these blue science pack assemblers, let them do their job over time, and then we'll finally be able to get some sort of research going. I think my priority will be to get the advanced oil processing, which is, again, why can't I not find it? Oh, this one here right in front of my face. So we'll get this one researched first, And then my priority after that will be to get the blue underground belts researched. And that will take some time because I think that one takes purple science, and we don't yet have blue modules, or rather blue circuits yet for purple science. So looks like we just keep getting problems one after the other. I think with that said, I'm going to take a break because we're going to go ahead and, like I said, kind of rinse and repeat the process of feeding the products we need into these assemblers for the blue science pack. And I think I'm going to also do some preemptive problem solving. If we look over here at the copper mining section, which is this section over here, it is completely depleted, so I've got to do some problem solving to access some more copper somewhere else around the map. Looks like over here might be an option, or over here is another option. So by the next cut, hopefully our problems will be solved and we'll be able to move on into something else. And welcome back, you guys. So in between cuts, I've been in fix-it mode to make sure that we don't run out of resources, especially all at once. So I focused on putting in a new train station just west of our ore smelting area. So we now have a train station for dropping off coal to the far right one over here, iron ore in the middle right, copper ore in the middle left, and then we have one to the very far left for water pickup. And that's so that we can now drop off water to our oil refinery section back at our bigger base over here. And thankfully, we'll be able to use that training station very soon because I finally got our advanced oil processing researched, and that will start to require water in our refineries over here. So we're going to have our water train drop off the water into these tanks, and then the water should get delivered into the refineries themselves, and then we can start to recycle the heavy oil and the light oil that we haven't been using to go more towards the petroleum that we've been using, and then we'll even be able to make some batteries at that point. So with that said, let's go ahead and put down our new train for our water pickup. And we're just going to do a 2-2-2 train. So we're going to put the head right there. And then fluid wagon there. And then the end of our train right there. That looks good, and it looks like... Oh, I'm missing some pipe there, it looks like. Good thing I caught that early. There we go. So it looks like everything's working. That was pretty quick filling. And I kind of bust in the pipes all the way from the little pond that we have over here. So that's why we have kind of a mess of pipeline that you see all around the map over in this section. Now let's go ahead and put some conditions on the train now. And we're going to call this water pickup, and we want this to stay here until it is full, and then we're going to be going to our water drop off next, and that's this one there until item or inventory is empty. And I think that'll do it. I'm going to hop in and make sure that we actually get to the station that we need to go to. There we go. So the other things I did in between cuts, I added in a copper farming station all the way up north over there and tried to defend it as best I can for now with some turrets around it, since we have a biter nest just north of that. And I've also added in coal farming over here to the bottom, and then conveniently we also have still our iron farming section just kind of north of our starter base. So that's still convenient and right there, and I'm trying to farm up this patch so that we can get rid of that and then start to put in some more train track that will end up going through this section eventually. Oh, and I'm going to hop out. It looks like we actually were able to make the water delivery, and it just happened to either deliver it really quickly. Yes, it looks like that is exactly what happened. And the reason why I know that is because the lights are green, which means we have water flowing in. That's one thing I like about this train fluid drop-off section, because I can automatically tell just from the colors, whether it's green or red, whether we have fluids coming in. So, one unfortunate thing, even though we have the water hooked up, the refineries are not working, even though I did put in the new recipes already. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at that. Okay, so I made it back to the oil refinery section, and I'm guessing the reason why we still don't have these turning on is because we still have to put in our advanced cracking recipes into the chemical plants, and that way they can start to recycle the products that we're not using. So that means this one here, I believe, is our heavy to light. And then if I can actually walk, that would be nice. There we go. And then the rest of these chemical plants should be our light into petroleum. There we go. And we can see that they're now beginning to turn on, which is fantastic. All right. So now everything should just kind of start to slowly work again. We have our fluids coming in, and we have a little bit of plastic working, and then we actually have some batteries getting made. So we now have our first batteries of the game. Let's get out of here though. It looks like it's not quite efficient enough though. Let's double check why. Do we have enough crude oil? Yes, we do. And we have enough water. So why is it not working the way it should? We've got lube. To be honest, I'm not actually quite sure why this isn't fully working 100%. It should be automatically recycling our products. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of play with this off camera, and then I'll be back in just a second once that's fixed. Well, I found the problem, you guys. I accidentally have a mislabeling of our pipes, where we end up having our petroleum coming into where our water should be for our chemical plants. So I need to fix that, and unfortunately the best way I know to do that is just to rip it up and kind of start over with replacing the pipes. Unfortunately, once you get the wrong fluid mixing, it's a pain in the butt to kind of fix. So once I get this fixed, I do think everything should be working as it should be. Okay, there we go. Now we can replace everything. And we need our underground pipes, and then I think we're going to be good to go at that point. And it looks like it. So you can see our batteries are now beginning to work. Our plastic's beginning to now work on a semi-regular basis. We don't quite have enough products coming in. So let's go ahead and fix this one back up. Do we even need this here? I don't think so. So we'll get rid of that for now, and I'm just going to clean up the pipe a little bit more. There we go, just like that. But voila, we have a semi-working oil refinery section. I'll continue to play with that again off camera, but let's move on to something else at this point. So our red circuits will be working once we get more plastic to them. That's kind of been my choke point at this point. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish eating up the red circuits and our miners here and finish kind of putting in the products into the blue science pack assemblers by hand. Just because the next thing I want to research will be, I think... In fact, I might already be researching it. Yes, I am. The electric energy distribution, which you can see I'm researching up here to the top right, and that will enable the substations. So once we get the substations, which is something I've been dying for since like 10 episodes ago, we'll be able to put those in and finish getting electricity to a lot of these items. So our red science packs and our military and our green science will begin to work as well. So... hopefully we can get enough supply to these guys. There they go. Some of these are beginning to work again. And we'll feed in a couple more red circuits. But one other thing I want to do is add in our labs, and we're going to do that just south of this science factory. And I have a blueprint ready to go for that. And I think I'm going to start out with 20 labs for now, and I'm just going to do basically 4 or 5 rows of what this blueprint is down right now. So we can do like this, I guess. And that's 1, 2, 3, yep, 5. So I just want to duplicate that so we have a row like that. So that will be 20 labs. And I'll worry about how we get the space science packs into that later. That's definitely way down the road. And we can just fill these in though. I do have 20 labs ready to go. But that way I don't have to pick up the blue science packs and bring them back to the mini base. We can just start to supply them into these labs here. And one technique we're going to be using for feeding the labs, or the science packs rather, into the labs themselves is going to be this kind of leapfrog thing where we have the labs now deliver them via the inserter into the next subsequent ones after that. Oh, and I'm out of inserters, unfortunately. And I'm not going to have enough of the underground belts, unfortunately, to get all the way, but we'll be close. Okay, let's finish putting in what we can, and then I'll go back to the starter base to pick up a couple more resources. And can we just do one more since that's the last we need? Good, and let's hook it up with some electricity. Just because I can't stand all the blinking. Like that, and we'll do this for now. And a couple more electrical poles should do it. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's just supply this section over here. Perfect. So let me pick up the blue science packs if we have any, which we do. I'm just kind of hovered over the underground belt here. You can see the blue science packs feeding through the belt line itself. I've already got 47 on me. I think we need about 70 more to finish the research that we have going. So I'm just going to pick up the remainder and then we'll take it back to the main starter base that we have, and then I should have this done getting researched. And welcome back yet again, you guys. The research just finished, which means we've finally unlocked the ability to make substations. So I'm going to grab a handful of some red circuits and then make a couple, and then I can finish filling the electricity into this section of the science factory and some areas of the oil refinery section as well. Alright, I've got a couple substations built now. Let's go ahead and fill them in. And here you can see the military science now beginning to work now that it has power. And just a couple more. One over here. And one over here. And I think we have one more just at the bottom, and then I think everything should be powered in the science factory. And here's the last one going in the top right. And there we go. We now have everything powered in the science factory. And now that we have substations, we can also start to fill those into our electrical grid that will be going in through the rail network that we have all around our base in the octagon section that we have. So, what else are we missing at this point to get everything really up and running? It looks like these blue underground belts are going to be the bane of my existence. Well, it looks like we're going to have to delay getting this fully operational until next episode, or maybe even after that. But for now, we're going to go ahead and end it here. I appreciate you guys for joining me for episode 14, and thank you guys so much as always for giving me your support and your positive feedback, and I hope to see you for episode 15 here pretty soon.